Last week I finished implementing drag and drop functionality for an app at my work. One day, done. And my first instinct was to hide it, honestly, not because it wasn't ready, it was, but because I was scared that the speed itself would become a problem one day. And that fear told me something important. The developer role has changed and it will never be the same again. Hi there, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Daniel Noworyta. I'm a programmer, and on this channel I show strategies and tools useful for learning programming and developing your career in the IT industry. Today we are going to talk about what being a software developer actually means right now, and why being paid to write lines of code is over, and what you should be doing instead. So let me go back to that moment of finding something. I was implementing pretty complicated drag and drop functionality recently. It took me one day, and when I finished, I realized I hadn't written a single line of code by myself. Not even one. So the solution was there, it was working, it was clean, and my brain immediately said, put this behind a feature flag, don't ship it yet, don't show it to your colleagues, it's too fast. And why was like this? I think not because something was wrong with the code, because I was scared that the speed would look wrong in my case, that my colleagues would see the timeline and not understand that being that fast would become a problem. So I sat with that instinct for a while, yes, and I think a lot of developers are feeling this right now, even if they are not saying it out loud. Because we build our identity around something, around pace, around quality, around the capability to take a spec and turn it into working code. That was the job. That was how you measured yourself, and that was completely okay in the old world. And now that thing we measured ourselves by, it's not the bottleneck anymore, I feel. And to really understand new bottleneck, in my opinion, during the software development process, let's see what I actually did during that one day. So let me tell this. I didn't write code. What I did was test, review, and question again and again. Check if what came out matched what the user actually need. Yes, I caught things the model missed. I asked whether we were building the right thing at all, or we should build this in different way, or we should fix this stuff and that, or we should make this more robust solution. That's where my attention went when writing was no longer the job for me. And this is the shift nobody is talking about clearly enough, yes, today, I think. Before AI, we hired developers to write more lines of code. More features needed more people, of course. A team of 10 could ship what a team of 2 couldn't in the old times. That math made sense when writing was the bottleneck, but I think it isn't anymore. The bottleneck now is everything that happens after the code exists. So I see more and more importance like reviewing what AI has generated, testing it against real user behaviors, catching what the model missed in time when we were developing feature, asking whether we are building the right things at all, or we should build it again, or we should build it in different way. Writing was never the hard part. We just thought, we as developers, we just thought it was, because it took the most time to us to write actual solution, to develop solution, to make a research. And Any organization that is still paying for lines of code, like still measuring velocity by tickets closed, I think it's measuring the wrong thing entirely. And let me tell this, they are already behind, not in 6 months, they are already behind right now. Here is what genuinely worries me right now. It's not the developers who refuse to adapt to, that's real, even in my environment. What worries me more is the gap that opens up inside teams. Because right now you can have two developers sitting next to each other, yes? One is AI native, one is completely against AI and saying AI is producing slop. And they are not moving at the same speed anymore. They are not even close. I know about this because I'm living it. So I have the same stuff, I'm living this stuff within my working environment. So 1 foot I'm in the new world and 1 foot is still in the old team culture. And that tension is real and nobody is talking about this. And I think an AI native developer can ship what a team of 10 people shipped before. And that's not an exaggeration in my case. That's what I'm watching happen right now. And that's true. What happens to the teams? I think what happens to the developer who built their whole identity around writing clean code and now the ground under the identity is shifting so fast. So I think those people are really in problem right now. And honestly, I don't have easy answers for now. I mean, a whole team makes this transition, and I really don't have answers for that, how to make this transition properly. So what I do know is this: the developers must, those who are like most at risk are not the bad ones. I think they are the ones who were measuring themselves by the right thing, but at the wrong time. Any companies that don't see this happening inside their teams right now are going to feel it very soon, in my opinion. So developers who are like measuring or valuing themselves by the quality of code they are producing, they will be in real trouble. So I think the ego is real enemy right now, and you shouldn't be connected so much within the code you're producing at the end. I became a developer because I always felt that developers have special powers within their heads, and yes, they can solve real problems with code. They have real impact in the world, in my opinion. And that feeling when something finally works, when an idea becomes something real, that's why I started my transition from automotive to IT world, actually. And that superpower, I think it's still there, but now I understand it was never in the typing, it was never in syntax, it was in knowing what to build, it was always in being close enough to the user to understand what they actually need, not just what they asked for. So I think it was always in this joy was always in having the judgment to say this feature isn't ready yet, and not because the code is wrong, but because the user doesn't need it yet. I think AI writes the code now. What it can't do is sit across from your user and understand what they are trying to accomplish. And I think the user was always supposed to be in the center. Now, finally, we have the time to treat them that way, because before we had to spend so much time in writing code and typing, and now here is what I want you to do. I mean, not next quarter, not after the next sprint. This week, I think if you are already using AI tools to build, find one colleague who isn't, sit with them for an hour, show them what is possible with those tools, not to make them feel behind. It's nothing like that, but because this whole transition goes better when nobody gets left alone and in the old world. So I think we should help each other now. And I'm already doing this. I'm running live workshops for my colleagues, showing them how to use an AI in everyday scenarios. not as a lecture, as a conversation. I would like to have conversations with people like me who feel this transition and who would like to adapt themselves as fast as possible and who would like to not feel themselves behind in the old world. Yeah, that's it for today. If you like this video, you probably like also this one here or here. When I put together for you, like it includes my most popular episodes where I talk about AI, the future of software development, and how to grow your career in IT right now. Yeah, that's it for today. I hope episodes will leave you with something. If you have any comments, questions, write them below. Thanks for watching, and I wish you a nice day and see you in the next one. Bye bye.